What is the devil? What in the devil is the devil? Throughout the great traditions, we've adopted such terms as Lucifer and Satan, right? Let's take a look at that. More holistic viewpoint. Satan, the root of that word could be drawn back to the word set, which is where we get the word sunset. The word for the adversary in ancient Egypt was set, as in the setting sun, because it's about to go from light to dark, day to night. And this represented the energy, darkness of evil, of adversarial, of an opposite type of energetic, known as set, which is one of the roots of the word Satan. Of course, we also know, in astrotheological terms, we know the connection to the planet Saturn, and think of the words Lucifer and Satan in the modern world and their connection astrotheologically to the planets Saturn and Venus. So what on earth is going on here? One side of the community is saying, well, what's wrong with Venus? There's nothing wrong with Lucifer. Lucifer's just Venus, the bringer of the dawn, the morning light. What's wrong with that? And then, of course, the more conventional community would say, that's all astrology and astrotheology, therefore it is all of the devil. And so we reach this impasse in the modern world in the discussion. What's really going on with this terminology, these words? Venus, the morning star, right? This is the bright star that we see usually way down low near the horizon, and is the bringer of the dawn because oftentimes it is seen to precede the rising of the sun, the big boy, Christus, the light, the divine light, the sun, the giver of life, the thing that brings essence and existence to all of us and everything here on earth. And the planet Venus is often seen to precede that in the morning on the horizon. And so Venus is known as the morning star, the bringer of the dawn. And one of its pantheonic names is Lucifer, Lucifer. I mean, you can even hear the deacons chanting Lucifer in St. Peter's Vatican Basilica. Lucifer. Now, so what's going on here with Venus and Saturn and this whole idea of evil and the devil? What's the connection? Well, we're getting there because Venus is, in essence, the ruler of Taurus, which is fixed earth. And this is the energetic in life of that, the physical surroundings of one's being, what we have, what we know to be part of our being, that is the things that we have, the comforts of our life. Venus represents food and money and possessions. That part of living, that is all of that, is ruled by Venus. The material world, our wealth, our property, our havings, our ownings, the things we like to eat, the ways that we like to sleep, what makes us warm and cozy. This is Venus. This is Lucifer, if you will, the ruling energy of material stuff. And then on the other hand, we have Saturn, known as Satan. And what's so wrong about that? Well, in and of itself, Saturn, of course, represents the bones, the structure, the skeleton of the body, the inner solid workings, that which makes something stand erect. Buildings, walls, ceilings, bridges, planes, trains, churches, schools, courts. The structure of society is Saturn. Well, what's wrong with that? We have to have walls, we have to have ceilings, we have to have borders. We wouldn't have a world if we didn't. And of course, in and of itself, there is nothing wrong with Saturn, i.e. Satan. So we are starting to see where we are going with this. Because what is happening is that if those two energies, the particular energies in the pantheon of the Elohim, which represent material stuff, the three-dimensional part of our existence here on earth and in the world, if we are to venerate those two energies, in other words, extract them from the Elohim and reject the rest, i.e. the sun, Christ, the moon, Isis, without taking the holistic pantheon and all of its energetic, if we are to accentuate the importance of Saturn and Venus in the world, then therefore that is the definition of materialism. Therefore, the devil's biggest trick, if you will, is to offer you the world. And let us remind ourselves, the devil never offered anybody the kingdom of heaven. The devil offered us the world. The devil offered Christ the world. The devil offered Faust the pleasures of the world, the flesh. And we talk of 666, this number of the beast. Well, the beast, the word beast in this case is representing the flesh, the physical, because 666 is carbon. The 666 number represents carbon. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, and 6 electrons, which is the stuff, the building blocks of the material world. And therefore it is known as the beast, because we are beast. The flesh is beast. Animal devoid of spirit is beast, therefore evil, therefore separate from God. So we're starting to see how this connects holistically to the astrotheology and where we get stuck. Because one side of any particular argument is going to say, oh, well, since astrology and astrotheology and Gnosticism is of the devil, which is what my preacher taught me, then I'm never going to look at the planets anyway. And then the people that do look at the planets go, well, there was nothing wrong with Venus, but they're neglecting to understand that the Luciferian power structures in the world are venerating Venus in a way that rejects Christos, that rejects the sun, that rejects the full energetic of God's pantheon in the world and on the earth, and how it works in tandem together as a team, as an Elohim team. Venus is a part of it. Saturn is a part of it. We are not equipped as humans to say, I choose Venus alone, or I choose Saturn alone to hold as my God. No. God created the heavens and the earth. We have to take it in all holistically and understand its balanced energies. That is why Venus has the relation to Lucifer that it does in the modern world, and Satan has the relation that it does in the modern world to Saturn. And there is the reality of it energetically. It's right there in the pantheon. And it is there in a symbolism. The 5-pointed star for Venus and the 6-pointed star for Saturn. The 5-pointed star for Venus and the 6-pointed star for Saturn, representing the pleasures of the flesh and the structure, the material structure of the world, the institutions of the world. And there it is. We must not get confused about what is the devil, what is evil. It makes sense once we look at it, break it down. We see that planetary Elohim connection, and we see how those energies have been misused by the dark forces in the world, the cults that are behind those infrastructures. They have been misused, hence the rise of Luciferianism in the world, if you will. There it is right there. Saturn and Venus become the bad guys in their representation because of how they are misused by the cults that are behind the institutional structures in the world, because they venerate the pleasures of the flesh and they venerate the ruling of the structures in the institutions, the monopolizing of that energy, because Saturn makes the rules. Saturn sets the laws. Saturn sets the boundaries. Saturn teaches the lesson. And if we, i.e. the cult, are to venerate that energy, we're going to have control over that. It's that simple. And the symbols represent that perfectly. I have to be very careful what I say on such subjects, do I not? Very careful indeed. I have to be very careful indeed what I say on such subjects. And so therefore I will leave it there for today.